The Tibetan word for this is Jesu Yirang or Yirang. And the Sanskrit word is Mudita. Sometimes we try to translate into English as rejoice. But I'm not sure whether that word says the whole meaning of the word. This is regarded as something very, very important from Buddhist point of view. This is Buddha said that if somebody does something positive, a positive action, and another person rejoices at that, or does this Jesu Yirang, then these two people actually have accumulated the same amount of positive karma. There is this story during Buddha's time that one of the very rich student of the Buddha, a prince, Prince Jeta, he organized a very big kind of Dharma activity during Buddha's time. For the whole of summer, 3 months, he provided shelter, food, clothes, medicine, and every necessary things for all the monks of the Buddha, for all the other people who needed that, and including all the beggars. And so therefore a big, huge, and the Buddha was teaching there, and everybody was practicing, and everybody got everything they need from this prince for all the rainy season, all these 3 months. And then at the end of that, he thought that he had done something very good, something quite big. And then he asked Buddha, please, can you say some dedication? Can you dedicate these positive actions and say some prayers for that? And because that was the usual kind of tradition, that at the end of something positive action, Buddha will dedicate it. And usually he would take the name of the sponsor who kind of did this action. But this time, then Buddha asked the prince, should I dedicate this in the name of the person who actually sponsored this event, or should I dedicate it in the name of the person who actually accumulated most positive deed in this? And the prince was a little bit confused because, he was the sponsor and he should have accumulated the most positive deed in this action. But he asked Buddha, please dedicate it in the name of the one who has accumulated most positive karma from there. Then when the time came, Buddha took the name of an old beggar, a lady, who was sitting at the gate of this whole thing. She was just a beggar. She didn't contribute anything. She didn't contribute a penny. She didn't do anything. Any action, nothing. She was just there, receiving everything she was given, and she didn't contribute in any way. But Buddha took her name and then, dedicated. So everybody was surprised. Everybody was kind of, didn't know what was happening. So they asked Buddha's attendant, Ananda. And the Ananda asked Buddha. He said, why you did this? Why did you take the name of this lady, a beggar old lady who didn't do anything towards, who didn't do any contribution towards what was happening here? And then the Buddha said, well, she actually rejoiced. She had, this Mudita. She had Jesu Yirang. She was so happy. She was so happy that somebody was doing such a positive action. And she really rejoiced at that. And because of that, she actually accumulated as much positive karma as the one who actually sponsored it. But then the prince, who actually sponsored the whole thing, he had a little pride, that I am the one who did all these things. Nobody could have done something this big and sponsored so much. But this old lady, she didn't have that pride because she did do nothing. That's why Buddha said that she actually got more positive action, more positive karma from this than the prince. So therefore, this is, to rejoice, to be happy when somebody is doing something good, or to be happy when somebody has received something nice, or somebody who has achieved something positive, good, then instead of becoming unhappy about that, instead of becoming, becoming angry or upset or jealous or envy, if you can rejoice, then it's not only that you accumulate a very positive karma, but actually you find a way to become happy all the time. Because, if sometimes it is said like this, that if you want to find a way to be joyful and happy all the time, then you do this, Mudita, rejoicing, Jesu Yirang. Because always there is somebody who has done something good. Always you will find somebody who has attained something good. Always you will find somebody who is, who has something positive. And then when you see that, if you rejoice, it will make you happy. It will make the other persons happy. And you don't have to pay anything for that. So, if you want to be happy without spending anything, without any expenditure or any, any loss from you, then you should do this rejoicing. But if you did the opposite, if you want to be unhappy for no reason, then you should do the opposite. I've heard that there's a German word for that. What is that?
Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude. That if somebody has something good, if somebody gets a promotion, if somebody, receives something, then you make yourself unhappy. And when you do that, what happens? You don't get anything. You don't get anything good from that, but you are unhappy. And, you can be always unhappy because, always there is somebody who's getting something good or something achievement or something positive and things like that. And every time you are unhappy, then you can be unhappy for no reason all the time. And that will not do any good to yourself. That will not make yourself better. That will not, help anybody else, So therefore, it's just a complete wrong way of reacting, creating pain and problem and suffering for yourself for absolutely no use, no reason, no positive outcome. So therefore, this is something which, if we can change our attitude, and there is no reason why we cannot, because it's, we all want to be happy. We all want to be, joyful. We all want to, and if somebody gets something good, there's nothing wrong. Why should I be unhappy? If I am happy, if my neighbor buys a new car, if I am joyful, I am happy, then I can express that, and he will be happy too, because I am happy that he has a car, and most probably I'll get a lift. So it's benefiting me, it's benefiting him, because he knows that I am happy, and therefore he knows that I'm his friend. But if I am unhappy, then he knows that I am not his friend. And then, there's unnecessary, ill will between us. And so therefore, more problem. So therefore, this is something that this word or this concept, I think, needs to become known. And, I think we need to bring this way of rejoicing at others' positive things and good things and wonderful things to be made our culture. That if somebody happens good to somebody, we immediately feel good and happy and rejoice from our heart. And when we do that, actually it encourages that person, and it actually makes a very harmonious and peaceful and joyful kind of atmosphere, and it brings much happiness in myself. And that does not necessarily, or that does not at all prevent me doing something more better. I can also, work towards that, and then I can also get help, and I can also get inspiration from those. Because when I fully recognize or appreciate somebody's positive things, I can also, learn from there, and I can work towards that, and I can also become more positive and more successful in this way. So this is the attitude of Mudita, attitude of Jesu Irang, and the practice of rejoicing. I think it is a very important way of thinking. It's a very important attitude which we need to, inculcate in ourselves, so that we generally feel like that and not the other way. And that's why it's also regarded as a very, very important way of being positive.
This is Mudita.